Dude, I heard Natch got another one.
Cited in San Clemente
Seen old
this
boy,
weekend.
all fucking up in the hospital bed, dude. Natch got his ass.
Wow, bro.
Trying to catch a tube, cutting fatties down there in Laguna.
You guys don't mind if I eat on the mic?
Yeah, I do actually.
just trying to fucking ride that nar, dude.
Bro, we have oranges and apples.
That's how we roll, bro.
Miles stays with the fruit.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Star Normal Podcast. I'm your host, Saul Jones. I'm sitting here, as always, with my audio engineer, Miles Williams. He's got a mouthful of apple over there. And as always, my co-host, Brian Hoodie.
That's me.
Do not call. Hey, and then also...
Wait,
him
what,
sweatshirt.
bro? Okay, yeah, don't do that.
And then my guest this week, our guest, is...
Troy Shenker.
Shenker.
One and only. Only one. You can Google it.
Shenker,
How you doing,
literally.
man? How's everybody
Hell
doing?
of a last name.
Doing well.
Doing great.
Glad
Yeah,
to have you on.
that's a big one in jail.
Yeah.
Don't shake anybody.
Don't mess with that guy. I heard he's a shanker.
Real quick, before we get started, I just want to remind everybody, go to our website at thestarnormalpodcast.com. There's everything you need to know about us on there. Links to Spotify, Google Play Music, iTunes, all that good stuff. You guys know the deal. Everything. There's a contact link on there if you guys want to get in contact with us. And then, as always, and I want to thank everybody. I've been looking at iTunes, reading the comments, and the 5-star ratings. We really appreciate
that's
those
awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
For reals. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by Serenity Housing LLC. It's sober living down in South Orange County. There's a website, serenityhousingllc.com. You can everything you need to know about sober living, you can get there. We have men's and women's housing in September. All right. And
if you come right now,
you'll get to live with me. I'll be your house manager. Back to the show.
Do it.
And that lovely beat was brought to you by Miles, by the way.
Yeah.
Again, once
solid.
again. Solid as a rock.
Okay.
So, Troy,
Yes, sir.
what's going on, man?
Just snapping necks and cashing checks out here, Big Daddy.
Wow. I like that one.
Oh, yeah, we're American.
America.
Dude, I'm so glad to have you on. I've been excited for this. We've talked, lots throughout the week about just different stories and stuff. And I feel like you got a lot of stories that people need to hear.
Thank you.
That's
Thanks for
kinda
having me
shitty
on.
because anytime I tell a story, you tell me to save it for the podcast.
No one likes you, Hood.
Okay. I'm just going to go home.
But I like to start off a little lighthearted, a little silly. You got like a silly story from, either using, getting clean, going to treatment.
Silly story from using.
Silly.
So I was incredibly dope sick one time, and I was like, fuck this, man. I'm over it. I'm going to kill myself. But I was like so dope sick I couldn't leave my house, and so I was just looking around for like what I could fucking just take to fucking die.
Yeah.
And I was like, fucking dude, I got all these Baclofen, dude. So I'm like,
muscle relaxers.
I'm gonna crush 100 fucking muscle relaxers, right? And just fucking
Parachute?
cancel this fucking Christmas.
Wow.
And so I just killed them, and then I passed out, and I woke up. My whole body was like limp, and I fucking took 100 muscle relaxers, right? Shit my bed for like an entire day. And I just remember my pops fucking cracking the door, and he goes, "Oh my God, what's going on?" I'm like, "Get out of here!" I sound like I had cerebral palsy. And then I fucking came to, and I realized like that was it, man. I fucking told myself, you know what? It wasn't my time, brother. And I'm never trying that again because I'm not trying to shit my bed so bad I gotta throw it away. There's no washing it. They don't make a Febreze spray you can co-cop at Target for that fucking diarrhea-stained fucking suicide bed situation you had going on. All right?
That is funny.
You know what I mean?
But also kind of fucked
You know what I mean?
up,
Hit up
man.
Stanley Steamer for that sitch and see fucking the copay on that operation. All right? Just tell him fucking, hey, why don't you come on over and we'll figure it out when you get here. I can't wait to see the invoice, Papa. But,
That's ridiculous.
That's so silly, Troy.
Okay, then.
Oh, shit.
That's new.
Dude, yeah, I've done some ridiculous shit in withdrawal. Baclofen, though, man, it'll make you feel like you've been roofied the next day. Like your whole body just feels
if you take
like, why
100 of
doesn't
them.
this
oh,
move?
yeah. I woke up like,
Would
dude,
you
who the
take
fuck
any other
shit in
amount?
my bed? Who shit in my bed?
Shit on me and in my bed.
Yeah.
Hey, someone shit in my
Yeah.
bed. And
I was waiting for Ashton Kutcher to pop out from underneath the mattress like he was punking me or something. I was
You
like,
hear
what the
about
fuck's this
adults
all about?
pissing the bed. Shitting the bed never happens.
yeah.
Repeatedly.
Dude, the most, like, not the most ridiculous thing, but one of the things that off the top of my mind that like stuff that we do like as addicts, but that is just normal to us. You know, I was in withdrawal, and my dog had we had a little Chihuahua. We have 2 dogs. Malingo is my dog.
Tramadol situation?
Yes. Yeah, I told you about this, right?
No. Just
dude.
a drug addict.
Yeah,
that's
so
weird.
my dog hurt
haven't
its
heard
leg.
about it myself, so it's cool.
My dog hurt its leg. I take it to the vet, and they gave it, a couple shots, and they gave it some Tramadol. It was 50 milligram Tramadol, bro, for a little tiny dog. And I was like, you're doing good today. You look fine. And I ate that shit, dude. I ate it because I was in withdrawal. And I know, dude.
Asshole.
To be fair, it's not the dog I love. The dog I love, I still have, and it's mine.
It's fine, bro.
That's the dog
It
I
was a
gave
side
away.
bitch?
It was dude. It was the dog I gave away in the divorce.
See what he did there? Female, bro.
Fuck, Miles.
Well, it's like, what's the dog going to do? Complain to somebody about how bad he's in pain?
I'll have to stand up next time, man. My
Yeah.
bad. Went right over my head.
Okay,
So,
so we've
all right.
established you're an asshole.
Okay, you Troy lives in the sober living house with me.
I do.
And you're a fun guy to live with, man, because you're funny. I love hanging out with you. How long have you been sober? And were you always funny before you were sober?
I was a lot less funny, not sober.
Really?
Yeah. People think that, like, a lot of people that meet me are like, oh, man, I can't imagine you, like when you were fucking out there running a gun, I'm sure you were fucking blast, and I wasn't, man. Like, me on my fucking DOC is I like shooting fucking speedballs, so fucking banging coke and heroin, I'm silent, man. Like, my bliss is like a fucking mountain of cocaine and heroin, a big bag of fucking rigs, and a locked door. I don't need food. I don't need fucking TV. Give me some Wi-Fi on my cell phone. I'm
Right.
fucking sucked into my iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm like happier than a pig in shit. So I wasn't joking around. And the only time I was joking around or being funny or trying to like fucking entertain people was when I didn't have any money.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I was like, everybody's
Trying
like,
to
hey,
get
you're cool.
money.
Hey, you can fucking hang out, dude. It's fucking cool. Like, in every trap house, they're like, no, he cool, man. Like, fucking, like, just like.
Were you going to Mexican trap houses? What accent was that?
I've mostly dealt with, a lot of like Southsiders just because of my, my brother was involved in that sort of a lifestyle for many, many, many years. Ended up going to prison because of that lifestyle. Yeah. So, Los Angeles, San Diego, and Las Vegas were pretty much my huge stomping grounds as far as like heavy drugs, and that's only who I dealt with.
Have you ever served time?
I mean, yeah, I've been incarcerated many, many, many times.
What's the longest you were locked up for?
Just like a couple of months. I really milked the system a lot, and then I was also someone who utilized PC 1000, for first-time drug offenders once I became 18.
What is that? Will you explain that?
So PC 1000, if you are catching your first drug charge, is something. Hold on, I want to answer one more of your questions before I moved on, so I don't forget it. 251 days clean.
Oh fuck yeah!
So
man.
is PC 1000 is a program. This is a program. Yeah, nights and weekends. Is a program where if you're a first-time drug offender, you can take these classes where you have to plead guilty, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then it's like hanging over your head. Then once you accomplish the PC 1000 courses, and they have to be approved through the court, you can't just go to like a sober living or like AA meetings. It has to be a PC 1000 specific program.
Correct.
At the end of completing that program, you get a certificate of completion. You take that back to the judge, and then he expunges the charge.
Oh, so it's not even on your record after
No.
that.
But if you fail,
You're fucked.
like I did.
now-
If you fail right now,
So
I failed it.
I fell
Still
out of
has
it too.
charge.
So I did. Of all of my charges, the reason I didn't serve a lot of time is because I did PC 1000. Prop 36 came into play, which
What was that?
Prop 36 is like, I believe, court mandated treatment in place of kind of the same thing like in lieu where they suspend stuff.
I like that.
Well, it's not.
Right?
Prop 36 is a lot of things. What it's also doing is allowing you to be charged with a misdemeanor instead of felony for possession of a controlled substance.
Which
in the
is
state of
big
California.
for when you're trying to get jobs afterwards. You know what I mean? Like
But here's my beef with it, man.
What is your beef?
So
Tell me.
here's the beef. When I was coming out to Southern California to come into treatment, I caught so typically when I would get arrested in the past, it would be for a felony drug charge, and I would sit in jail fighting the case for several months, or my longest time was a couple of years. But when you're when you're sitting in there, like, you have time to get clean, clear your head. Not that it really does any good, but when they changed it, I started catching all these charges, dude. I got 5 fucking cases in 2 weeks.
Jesus. And
because of that law. Because I kept getting caught with drugs that normally would have kept me in jail. But instead, I was out on the streets running and gunning.
Oh, okay. So instead of you being locked up for a little bit,
It would
be good for you. You get like a citation or something.
It
right?
literally would write me a ticket and give me a promise to appear for a court date. I wasn't even
Yeah.
booked. I was technically
And I don't know
arrested.
about you, but
Legally, I was arrested.
I'm not very
I
punctual
see.
or reliable or
Yeah.
trustworthy.
Samesies?
Weird.
So-
It almost runs in drug. I know there's a lot of drag addicts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I
gotta
feel like
be
that's kind of our
coincidence.
common ground. But and then I used Prop 47, which me and who were just talking about the other
What's
day.
Prop 47?
Proposition 47 is I know you become like
Was
a
it
fucking
CNN?
you become a lawyer if you've been in and out long enough, right? You can fucking
right.
testify.
Jailhouse
Dude, you're
life.
like in process and like what you in for, like, oh bro, here's what you're gonna do. Like
right.
you know, everybody's fucking
Always that
everybody's
one
fucking
dude in there.
everybody turns Johnny Cochran like when you're sleeping on your sandals, fucking, you know, trading your bologna sandwich for the cookies that fucking lunch.
That's
So-
double jeopardy.
wait.
You can't do that.
So okay.
Prop 47 dropped all non-violent drug felonies to misdemeanors, and they let out a lot of the population from overcrowding in jails and prisons in the state
AB
of California.
109 realignment.
Okay, we're throwing too much at people right here, guys. Too many props, too many ABO
lot of shit to
109s.
Google.
Yeah, but,
lot of shit.
But my thing is, you guys
What's your
are.
thing?
You were saying Miles was like, that. So you'd rather be locked up because you guys got
Of
these.
course not when I get the charge.
No,
but
not like wanting to be locked up,
in
but I'm saying
hindsight,
is
should
in
have been.
hindsight, it was actually better to be.
Yes.
See, because I had a woman
The
ask
idea
me.
that like we can't control our urge to use, so
Right.
we have to get it taken away from us.
Well, and I think that
Correct.
obviously the basic premise and concept of incarceration is because you need to be removed from society.
Mhm.
You're a danger to
Society
society
needs to be removed
and yourself.
from me, dude.
And like,
But I would like to point out though,
it's kind of like a fucking timeout, man. It's an
Going-
adult timeout.
Seriously, for
like
real.
real shit.
going into jail, doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to use. You could use in there, but
Yeah.
it
I've
does
used
mean you're
many
probably not
times,
going to
yeah.
catch more charges.
But
Yeah.
Because I had a
That-
woman ask me one time. She said, my son is an addict. He just went back to jail, and he said, "Mom, this is good actually, because I'll be locked up. That's where I'm comfortable for one, and two, I won't be out on the street, running and gunning. But the thing
Yeah.
is, you can still get drugs in
you can
jail.
get drugs, but the difference is that you can't keep an active addiction in jail.
It's so
Okay.
hit and miss, and fucking people fuck
Yeah,
up
and
on
then
getting it in, or people
expensive.
there's a
Right.
lockdown because there's like some fucking they lock it down because there's a fight on the something
Right.
goes down, and then
Politics, dude.
yeah, all
it's
sorts of
not-
shit. Somebody
it's-
fucks up and somebody whatever they got to stash it. Somebody
So-
gets caught, catches new. There's all sorts of there's
Okay.
a
It's not prison. Jail
smorgasbord
is
of
like when you first get arrested and you're in jail. It's not like you just got homeboy, on the yard that can serve you at any time. It's
because it takes
Okay.
time to set that kind of stuff up. From what I know, I've never served prison time. I would never I don't know about all that, but
Yeah.
from
No.
what my brother said from his little stint that he did, and from my experience in and out of jail, it's just a crapshoot. You can go in there with somebody who fucking keistered some fucking dope because he knew he was going to get popped or turned himself in, and then
Keistered, shoved
and
up their ass.
and they'll be on some fucking, hey man, I got that. I would get dope from guys that would say, hey, I'm in here for a probation violation and I have to appear in drug court in 3 days when they
Need
let
you
me
to hold
out,
it?
and I can't pop dirty, and I have a big ball of heroin. Can you do it for me? And I'd be like, I got you, bro.
I'll take one
yeah,
for the team.
I guess.
You know what? Fuck it, dude. All right, fuck it.
But you owe me big time for
yeah,
this.
yeah. Like first, like seriously,
Hey,
like
Miles, have
a
you ever
big
been locked up?
Nah,
I mean, neither. Well, I've gone to jail, but just for very short.
nah, miss me
one
with that
nighter.
big shit, bro.
She's like,
Samesies.
So-
long night though, brother.
So yeah,
It's the longest night of my life.
To answer your question though, it is different in that way. So, but I
Okay.
think in general, people being given tickets for being caught with drugs is not the answer. But also keeping them in jail doesn't fucking do them any justice either.
My-
It's really a lose-lose.
Yeah, it's probably better for society though. You lock
Yeah,
us
it
up,
is
we're not
better
out
for
there doing it.
society.
We're doing it inside. But my thing is that I think that we wouldn't have to. We need a third option, something that's not on the table right now, where we can go.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because we can't be having these charges hung over our head because it's hard to get jobs afterwards, right?
Fucking it is.
But at the same time, there does have to be some sort of change, and some of us can't just get ourselves to go to treatment. Sometimes you do have to be like locked up. There's
Yeah.
people that just won't
Yeah.
stop.
It's all. You want to know what, man? I hate like the word like situational, I guess, but like it really is. It's just there's so much. It's such a complex monster because
Right.
I mean, literally all the way down to like their living situation, their financial situation, what charges, like their fucking occupation, their DOC, you know,
Right.
like their past history. It's
Right.
I honestly I don't know enough about it to really comment on it because I don't know
I feel
that
you.
I haven't been on the other side of the podium
Right.
speaking for someone. I've just been fucking.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean? Just praying to God that I was lucky enough to be not going in, and here I am right now. I have a suspended 5-year prison sentence hanging over my head now.
Right
as I
now.
sit in front
Don't
of you right
fuck
now.
that up because you will get it. That's how I got mine.
Yeah.
Really? Now, okay, let's. I want to go back to where you had left off. You were talking about those different props and being in jail. I forget the original question. Does anybody remember?
Same.
You know what? I wanted to know, like, what was life like for you just before getting sober?
So that's a very good question. So here, I'll just spend a couple of minutes on what brought me to Orange County, man.
Okay.
I was
Where were you before Orange County?
Little Russia on the west side of Hollywood.
Okay.
And I was living out there with my half brother's mother. You know, I call her my stepmom.
Okay.
And what had happened was, make a long story short, I was married to a very wealthy woman, fresh out of the military. I'm a combat veteran, living in San Diego. All was well.
I want to come back to both of those, by the way. Don't forget.
And we can.
Yeah.
But in a 30-day period, my mother died. My father couldn't afford to live in that home any longer. He was living with my mother in Oregon, and I had a lot of money, and I was married to someone with money, and I was going to school getting paid, and I had money saved up for my military career. So I said, you come move in with me, Dad. I got a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house here in beautiful sunny San Diego, man. I got you.
Awesome.
So he moved in with me. My mom died. I got a DUI, another DUI, and my ex-wife's family found out while I was in jail for this DUI. My dad just moved in with me. I was in college. My mother just passed away. And I called to get bailed out, and she said, I just literally heard beeping, beep, 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 and it was a U-Haul, and she said, my family said they're going to, cut me off, and I can't do this any longer, and I can't be with you. And
what a way to find out.
And she said, she just couldn't do it. She couldn't, I don't even know how much of the money stuff it really had to do with. I just feel like she didn't know how to help me any longer. And I do believe that, I put her in a corner. So that, me and my father, we didn't have any credit, and we had kind of like an eviction on our home. Mm-hmm. And my brother pulled some strings and was like, you guys can go live very cheaply in Las Vegas. A friend of mine owes me a favor. No, credit check, no first and last months, nothing. Wow. $750 a month, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Vegas. We're like, fucking run it. So we went out there.
Run it right now. I need that.
And it was in a very, very, very. I remember pulling up with my father, and he just looked at me. He thought, he was moving in with his son who had money and was married and had this wonderful life. And it was like,
he has no idea.
He didn't have any idea
that you're using
what was going
stuff,
on,
right?
and I really started using with my mom. So
what were you using?
When my mom passed away. So when I got out of the military, and then we'll come back to how it was when I first got it, because this is good stuff.
Yeah,
this is great.
Came back from the military. I got lumbosacral spondylosis, right, which is like compressed discs in my lower back just from carrying too much weight, man. I'd like carry extra people's bulletproof vests because we were in a combat zone, like a couple 50s, my helmet, like magazines, and it would be like a couple 100 pounds, and I was like, trying to be all macho.
Yeah. What branch again?
The United States Navy.
Navy, fuck.
Yeah.
Man.
So I got out as an E4 third-class non-commissioned petty officer in the Navy.
Wow.
And so I'd come home, I'd hurt my back, so they're giving me, everything, I was going in there. And I kind of joined the military because I had a problem with drugs, and then I didn't really do shit while I was in. We drank a lot, but so when I got out, it was like I had this chick, money, all this stuff. So, anyways, so
everything perfect
everything
situation
was wonderful.
for an addict.
I was like, I just survived the Middle East, like I'm like, fuck, dude, I earned this, right? Talk about earning it.
Hell yeah.
I just got back from the Middle East, man.
If anybody earned it.
So I was on fentanyl, morphine, Dilaudid, Norcos, Percocets, anything you could think of, and I was abusing them like crazy before my mother passed away. And then she did, and then my father moved in with us, and I was in school working, and I never talked about my mom dying, man. It fucked me up really, really bad, really bad.
Yeah.
I had a plan to go see her for Christmas, me and my ex-wife, and she had told me, I'm embarrassed on how I look. I'll be totally fine. I'll see you guys New Year's or after the New Year. And then New Year's Day, I got a call in the morning from my father that said, Troy, are you awake? And I was like, have a sleep. And he's like, your mother passed away. And I was like, what? Like all hazy.
Man.
I was super hazy. And he's like, she passed away. And I was like, what? And I remember hearing my dad go, your mom's dead. You're not here. You're not here when I'm telling you. Your mother died. And I was like, what?
Fuck.
So all this is going down. Then I get arrested a couple times. My ex-wife leaves, and we go to Las Vegas, right? So we're like, oh, fucking Vegas, And I'm like super full-blown on drugs at this point, right?
Shout out to Vegas.
Hashtag Twain and Swenson. And right down the street from like the Siegel Suite, or no, not Siegel Suites, the fucking Speedy Mart. Siegel Suites is at the end of it. And then there was like Silver 7 down on the corner. It was a shithole neighborhood. They had fucking armed guards in front of the apartments. So then I just went balls to the wall in Las Vegas, right? I got like some super shady job. I was working for like the 6 major strip clubs, making tons of cash every night. My boss was a fucking meth head.
What were you doing there? Oh no, you were. What did you do?
I had moved from when I was still in San Diego. I got red flagged from the VA for filling my prescriptions too early.
Well, now
3 months in a row.
Now I do want to go to that. So okay, being a vet, you know, it's very easy to get meds, or it was at one point.
Yeah, and
right?
they prefer, from my experience, it's a lot more profitable on their end to keep you strung out on pain medication, because they don't want to do a big surgery and then fucking eliminate your need for them to keep filling scripts.
Let me point out, it should be easier for you guys to get stuff when you do need them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anybody's deserved health insurance or like doctors that'll take care of it, but it went the other way.
Epidemic with prescription happy,
and
it's
prescribing.
It's just underfunded, and there's so many fucking people at the VA.
Well, the thing is too is like they some doctors get kickbacks and stuff for prescribing medications, especially opiates at one point. Right. I don't know if they still do, but they can take advantage of the fact that these vets, they're easy to be able to prescribe to, because one, nobody's going to tell a vet no, you don't need this or whatever, and two, I mean, if you're in pain, you should get something, but this went the other way. And what happened with you?
So they were prescribing me a lot of pain medication, and at this point I was out of the military, right? So I'd gotten out and I was going to college, and I was working for a nightclub because I was going to school. I got my bachelor's degree in food and beverage hospitality management. Mm-hmm. So I was like, when I came home, I was drinking, smoking weed, doing blow, fucking Molly. I was like, fuck it. I hadn't done drugs in a really long time. So I was like, I want to party, man. I'm fucking home. I got my new wife. I got this house. We had money and shit. So I was fucking chilling. I didn't really have the college experience because I wasn't like out, slanging dick to these fucking college girls. So I was like, I want to at least,
college experience.
Like he's fucking whiter.
Because I was, because I was like a faithful dude, but I want to at least like have fun in my spot. So I was partying a lot, and then on top of that, I was doing a lot of painkillers, and then I found out how to abuse. I'm not going to say it on the air, but I was abusing my medications in certain ways, how I was using them, and
well, do you mind talking about what happened with the pharmacy thing?
Yeah, that's where I was just going to get to. So the VA. And they were giving me epidural, steroid injections, and all sorts of stuff. And with like a lot, I don't know about all back injuries, but at least for mine, it's kind of something that they can see, but they can't really prove what would work or not. So they didn't really know what to do with me. And I was still active enough to where they were like, we're just gonna for the time in that moment it worked. But what happened was I kept filling my prescriptions early, and then I met kind of a shady guy, another veteran, who was like, "Hey man, you all right?" And I was just fucking really shaking and baking, like fucking waiting for the prescription to get filled one of these days.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You know what you can do? With the VA, you can, if you get them to up your script or change your prescription, you get to keep what you already have, and then they give you a brand new script."
You're saying either the milligram goes up or the daily dosage.
So that's how I kind of So I kept that
stuff
going for a while, and then what happened was I filled my prescriptions early 3 months in a row. Right. And the VA's policy, if I remember correctly, is if you fill your opiate prescription 3 months in a row, they red flag you that you don't get any more ever.
Right.
That's crazy.
So that's what led me from already doing a bunch of street drugs and drinking heavily to the fucking painkillers went. I mean, immediately. I just called one of my drug dealers who's already selling me other drugs and just said, "Fuck, you got painkillers." I mean, maybe did that for a couple of weeks, but then it was just like they didn't have them. They were like, "I got this other shit," and I was like, "Fucking cheaper and lasts longer. Let's just do that."
Hoodie had a similar thing where they changed the formula of the medication, right?
Yeah, I was hooked on oxys. That's how I got into opiates. And when they changed the formula, you could no longer smoke them, shoot them, snort them.
They gel up on you, right?
Yeah, the OPs.
So red flagged at the pharmacy. They call you back there. What?
They told me to go up. Dude, I was already
like a fun day.
I was on. Yeah, so I went and filled my stuff, or I tried to. And I mean, I was at the pharmacy so often, and I was extra. Remember, I told you I was real. That's when I was friendly. What up, bro?
Same.
Like,
yeah,
fuck
it's
this
crazy
line.
that you got red flagged.
I'm like, "Hey man, I took care of that thing for him as his sister." So I went there and I saw that my normal friend, and this guy was so chill. We would shoot the shit. I think I got him into like one of the restaurants or nightclubs I was like assistant managing at the time. So I'd hook him up like real. I had his cell phone number and shit. Right? The pharmacist at the fucking hospital. So I saw him and he's like, "Oh, come on," and he would let me skip the line. I mean, people were like, "What the fuck?" And he'd be like, "Oh no, he had a ticket. They don't even give tickets."
He took a reservation.
So I would just right. So he called in his order, right? So I walked up to the front, and he was just already got I got you all good to go. And then I remember he looked in the system. He looked in the system and he said, "You got to go up to your floor, man."
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I got very upset with him.
Of course.
You know, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, no, you got to go see your doctor. And I said, well, why? And he goes, I can give you your, you know, gabapentin and your blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yo, fuck my gabapentin. You know, like
I don't use that shit.
Throws it at pharmacist's face.
I don't remember. I remember it vaguely. I remember it vaguely because this was in like 2012 or 2013. But I'm sure I was like the epitome of a drug addict. I was fuck all my other medications, dude. Just give me the opiate shit.
I don't need these antibiotics. I need my fucking...
But you did a trick that I used to do, which is I would either dress nice or have a work uniform on and go in there, and they tend to treat you different, you know? So you don't appear to be like the classic drug addict.
Something tells me he appeared to be.
Well, eventually
at that moment,
we all roll
and then,
into
and
it.
Then,
and
and
when
then
the red flag.
I didn't realize how bad, you know, I mean, I was just digging my own grave. And then I remember I went up there and was like, I want to talk to my fucking doctor. And they were like, about what? And I was like, they won't give me my fucking fentanyl. But they were like, oh yeah,
Fentanyl.
Sorry, hold on, let me get that doctor for you. Like, security. Yeah, these are the two doctors. These are their new outfits. Why do they have guns?
Doctors carry badges around here?
I don't see a stethoscope on that bulletproof vest. This is bullshit. So yeah, that's what led to. I mean, I just went out to the parking lot and I was fucking sweating bullets, freaking the fuck out. And then I called, you know, one of my drug dealers, and he was like, you know, like I said, I bought painkillers for a little bit and then just went straight to heroin.
So, okay, so you're on heroin, you know, you've gone through, you've been red flagged, you're finally to the real shit here, you know, the heroin. And it's like you're living with your dad at the time, right?
Yeah, me and my dad lived together for a little bit with another guy from the college that I was still finishing my degree after my wife had left, or my ex-wife.
And this is in Vegas?
No, this was in San Diego. So then I go to Las Vegas. Then I go to Las Vegas. We're in Las Vegas. And I remember, like, I had some friends mail me some fucking drugs.
I tried that too.
A couple of times, and then I just bumped
Not in Vegas. Not when I was in Vegas.
I literally just walked up to like the fucking scariest looking dude on my street, and there was plenty to choose from where I was living at, and was just like, you know, fucking what's up, and I mean that was it, game on. I mean, I ended up getting my drug dealer the entire time I was only there for a year. It was a long year though.
Yeah.
Was I mean, I could whistle from my fucking bedroom window, and he could literally pop his head out. He lived across the street. He could probably fucking like tape some heroin to a fucking paper airplane and fly it into my fucking apartment. So
game
it was wonderful.
Messaging pigeons.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna call my drug dealer. Pulls out can with string on it. Hey,
telephone.
And from there, it just got worse and worse and worse. And I was like in and out of the hospital. I remember I got osteomyelitis. My hand was killing me, and I went in. It felt like my hand had it had like a hand-shaped balloon inside of it, and when I squeezed my hand, it was gonna pop. That's the only way I could describe it. So I went into the doctor in Vegas. Went and saw the doctor in Vegas, and at this point, I hadn't paid bills in forever. I was just full-blown scumbag at this point. I was like, fucking bitch wife left me, man. Just fucking boo. So,
I tried to blame my ex so much.
I remember I went in there, dude, and I went in there, and they were like, yeah, I thought I was gonna be like in and out, and they were like, yeah, we got to get you a hospital room, and you're gonna be here for about a month. They're like, you're gonna be here for about a month.
A month.
And I was like, a month. And yeah, they're like,
cut it off.
Yeah, osteomyelitis. So they told me they were like, you shoot drugs into your wrists, and I said, yeah, all the fucking time. I'll shoot them into my nose if I find a vein in there. So they said I had like, you know, there's two main bones in your arm, and the right one, the bone on the left side of my right arm had gotten an infection in the marrow, and it crawled up my arm. They were
in the marrow.
We have to chop off my fucking hand. So
Jesus.
And yeah, dude, I mean, even that's another big turning point in my life, because I remember the nurse came and told me and was like, do you have any questions about this? And I was like, yeah, how am I going to shoot up with my feet? You guys will show me how to do that? I mean, that was all I cared about.
I've heard of people losing their hands from exactly what you're talking about right now.
Oh, my God.
So that was fucking
losing their hands.
Insane. So, I mean, and dude, I was
now,
like...
I would like to point out, nothing's going through the head of like, I'm stopping drugs right now. That's it.
No,
right?
No.
I'm like, that's why God gave me two hands. Like fucking, like you know, like fucking, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, good looking out, big guy. You know what I mean?
And so anyway, I was in this hospital emergency room. Doctor told me, because I went in there very sick, so I got an infection on the lining of my rib cage / lung, and had I think it's called Mederma or epiderma, something with my
epidural?
No, I had swelling in my legs to where you press on it with your finger. It was like memory foam. It would stay an imprint and slowly.
Fake-itis?
Yeah, and then so they told me I would literally die within a few days if I didn't stop shooting meth. And so what did I do? I went home and I cut down the dosage.
Oh my God.
That's what we do.
I
Though.
thought you were gonna say
My
cut
point
down
is
the
that
line.
we
Guinness
don't.
commercial. Brilliant.
Yeah, we don't.
You do half as much, you'll live twice as long.
Right.
Yeah.
6 days it is.
Oh my God.
No, so my point is that we as drug addicts don't give a fuck
Right.
what's told
Yeah, I
to
couldn't
us
care
when
less.
we're in our addiction. It's
I was
just-
dude. I was content, man. I was like, I fucking graduated college and fought for your freedom.
Yeah.
I can be a piece of shit now. Like,
So
fuck you.
What did it like? What was the original thing that happened where you're like, I'm going into treatment?
It
'Cause you
wasn't
went
any
to
first
treatment,
thing.
right?
So I tried treatment just trying to appease people. And I mean, so let's just go ahead and get to it. So we have time for
Yeah,
it. So
let's do it.
you know, plenty of overdoses, and I ended up being homeless in Las Vegas. And my brother flew me out to LA, and then that's you know,
Most people in Vegas are homeless.
It was a fucking nightmare. But
90%
what
of
happened
the
was 3 years of living with my stepmother, I call her, my half brother's mom. I'd overdosed. She'd found me overdosed several times. I'd
Shit.
fucking robbed her blind. She'd buy me something. She'd come back like an hour later, and she'd be like, "Hey, where's that TV I got you?" And I'd be like, "Somebody must have fucking broken in." You know?
Neighbors stole
And she was just so fed up with it. And she was like, "You need to leave. I'm gonna fucking dude." I mean, she would find me with drugs. I'd like push her against the wall and be like, "I don't want to fucking hurt you. Give me my
Oh,
drugs back,"
man.
and like leave for like a week and like fucking like
Yeah.
run out barefoot, fucking just shoot drugs till they were gone. Find meth, shoot that, stay awake for like. I just didn't give a fuck, man.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And so what happened was she was like, "You're gonna have to leave. I can't trust you. I've sleep with my fucking purse. I've let you stay here for years. I never charged you a dime, fed you, clothed you, fucking given you my bedroom." She was sleeping on the couch the whole time. Fucking saint, man.
Bent over
And-
backwards for you. Sounds like.
And she was like, "You got to go." And so I was checking on my phone what the weather was going to be like, and it was like going to be raining. I was like, "Fuck, man, it's going to be fucking raining in LA. Like I'm going to be like homeless in Hollywood, fucking
In the
like
rain.
people tugging
In
at
the
my sleeping
rain,
bag."
bro?
So I was like,
Yeah.
"Fuck that." So I remember I copped some coke and some tar, and I fucking blasted off. And I called what I thought was the Salvation Army because I was like, "Fuck being homeless, man. Like Salvation Army's free." You know, I was like, I was in the actual military, so how
Yeah.
back in the Salvation Army? so I called what I thought was the Salvation Army, and she was like, "I'll give you the ride there, and that's fucking it. You know, you got to do this because I'm kicking you out. I can't live with you any longer."
Right.
And so we drove 2 hours. I remember like I copped dope that night. My drug dealer shorted me, and in the morning he literally was texting me, and I was like, "Hey, can we wait a little bit to go on the tour of this facility?" And she was like, "Why?" And then it clicked on her, and she was like, "Nope, we're going fucking right now." And I was like, "No, I gotta." And she's like, "What do you need to wait around for? Tell me." And I'm like, right.
I just want to see
And
what kind
I
of
remember
sheets they have.
fucking, dude, it was like we were driving off, and I literally saw his car pull up in front of my place, and he's hitting me up. I'm out front with the rest of your shit I showed you last night.
Fuck.
So we drove 2 hours here to Orange County from LA, and I walked into what I thought was the Salvation Army, fucked, and covered in scabs, 50 pounds lighter, had MRSA for over a year and a half, didn't know what it was, just thought, "Hey man, it'll cure itself."
It's like super
Fuck,
staff.
right.
Shot the fuck out, man. Super shot out. And abscesses everywhere. And I was like, "Hey, you know, is the name of the admissions director for A Better Life Recovery? Fuck, I'll plug them, man. They
Right
fucking
on.
saved my life."
Hell yeah.
And they sat me down. And they were like, "This is not the Salvation Army. You're in the wrong spot. We are a treatment center, though. Do you have insurance?" I was like, "No, I have insurance through the VA." They were like, "That doesn't cover this. You have anybody that'll help
Which
you out?"
is bullshit.
You have anybody that will
Yeah.
help you out financially? And I said
Yeah.
no. And they said, I said, "You guys scholarship?" I've heard of like scholarships. And they were like, "We do, but there's a kind of a waiting list. Why don't you write down?"
If you serve in the military and then on top of that have actually been a combat vet, you should be, and been over in the Middle East or anywhere, you should be insurance for life. That's it.
Yeah, and then
You
they
have insurance for life.
overprescribed
There's-
you a bunch of shit that got you hooked on fucking drugs.
But what I mean is
Yeah, I mean, that's
insurance
like malpractice,
and
in my
insurance
opinion.
where if you need to get into a treatment facility, wherever it should be top of the
You
line
should
grade
have-
shit.
yeah.
Oh, the stuff that you went over and got shot at for, yeah, you're allowed to have that. We're going to give you that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
So I wrote down, why I wouldn't be wasting their time, and just fucking tears hitting the page, man. Talking
Hell yeah.
about my experience.
That's real.
Losing my mother,
Yeah.
being overprescribed pain meds, coming back being a little fucking off, from like just seeing all the poverty and like fucking being in the desert over in the Middle East, and just fucking,
Right.
and then losing my home and taking care of my dad like he was my kid, and being homeless and all sorts of crazy
Yeah.
shit in and
a
out
lot
of jail.
Stuff to work through. And,
Yeah, dude. I mean, I
you know?
crushed a couple pages, and they were like, "You know what? Here's the deal. If you're really fucking serious, you don't go get any of your shit back in LA. You don't get your fucking phone. You get nothing. You go to detox in 5 minutes." And that was December 10th.
That's the way to fucking do
Fuck
it.
yeah, man.
That's the way to do
So
it, man.
Cool, dude.
And
They
I've
knew
been
you
through
wanted it.
Yeah, I just was ready, dude. And I've been through the steps. in case my sponsor hears it, I do need to technically finish my 12th with him. I'm doing it on Monday. So
He's been
tomorrow.
working his 13th on me since
Like
we
a
started.
motherfucker, right?
Yeah, man.
And dude, I have a secretary commitment, and I fucking run an H&I panel.
That's awesome, man.
And
you work in recovery
Yeah,
too,
and I
right?
work-
I was just
recovery.
gonna say, yeah. Where do you work? What?
I work at Soul Sanctuary.
Shout out to Soul
in
Sanctuary.
Laguna Beach. And just to give them their due diligence.
Yeah, man. Plug them.
Yeah, if you want, you can go to their website at soulsanctuarylaguna.com, SOULSANCTUARYLAGUNA.com. And you can call the number on there and get in touch with one of the owners. But
Drug addicts can't spell.
yeah, hey,
He spelled it out for him.
just in case, man. Just
No,
in
that's
case.
real.
Yeah.
I can't spell, bro.
Bullshit. I can't
swear.
either. I'm the worst
Yeah.
speller in the world. I can do arithmetic.
So I just started working there though, yeah, and it's you know, it's
What do you
it's-
do there?
I'm a
What-
nighttime detox technician, so I come in around like 6:45, and I'll work there all the way until like 7:15 the next day, and
Yeah.
it's cool because I get it, you know, I'm one
Yeah.
of them, and I try not to take things personally. It's a wonderful facility. It's smaller, so it's more personal. As far as like the clients care, they get to do a lot more activities.
What kind of stuff? What kind of activities? Well, will you walk me through like one of your shifts? How does one of your shifts go? Because don't
Yeah.
you lead some groups too there, right?
Yeah, I do. So we have like a daily activities coordinator. There's two of them. So and what they'll do is they'll take them out during the days, and then they'll like in the evenings. You know, they take them to doctor's appointments, to the beach, to the movies, like, you know, fun stuff, bowling and all that kind of stuff,
fucking
just to
awesome.
kind of get them out of their head and just to like have some fun and sobriety. And then when they come back, they'll usually like eat, and then they'll go out for an AA meeting, or they'll run like a group on, you know, something. And sometimes I'll run a group at the house if it's at the house, in case if some people don't want to leave, we'll just have everybody collectively come, like sit in the living room, and we'll pick a topic like, you know, acceptance or hope or gratitude or like step work or like just a check-in on where they're at and what they're trying
Yeah.
to get out of the program that we offer there. So
That's amazing, man. I love that. And has that helped you? Is that a big part of why you're staying sober?
so it definitely takes me back, man, because it's hard not to take, like, one thing I've learned in sobriety is it's hard not to take something personally that's being said to your face.
Oh yeah, I was experiencing
You know what
that
I mean?
the other day.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Like if someone's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, fuck you," to your face, and then like, but you're not like, how can you not?
Like,
they're
oh,
saying
he
it right to
normally
you.
mean
you
it.
beat their ass, but
You know what I mean, though? Like, and I'm trying. I'm not, you know, I'm not 100% there, but
Right.
I'm more and more each day.
Yeah.
I learned that it honestly
It comes
doesn't have a
with
lot to
time.
do with me.
It takes
Yeah.
a while. No,
I'm
it
just,
has
I'm just,
nothing
I'm
to
just
do.
in front of them while they're talking, man. You know what
Right.
I mean? Even though it's directed towards me, because,
Right.
and I learned a lot of patience, tolerance, and acceptance
Yeah.
at my previous job working in retail. But
Right.
so
Customer's
Ross.
always right.
yeah.
Ross?
Fucking
Is that where he was?
hashtag dress for less, baby. All right.
Well, plus it's
Hashtag have a Rawsome day. That one never fucking made it all the way, but I tried. I tested it out though. I tried to get that one on the telly, but I never saw it flashing
They
across the
should pay
screen.
you for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
One of the
For
cool
real.
things about working in recovery, though, is you get constant good reminders of why you don't want to go back, especially in a detox.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You see these
Yeah.
people coming
That's
in
right in
just
front of
shot out like you were, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, I remember that."
You know, and in like I've worked there for I think around a month, and it's wonderful and it's cool working for a smaller place where like literally if there's an issue, I call the owner. I'm not calling like, you know,
Yeah.
one of the many chiefs. You know,
Yeah.
I get to go straight to
It's
the
more
source.
personalized.
It's
too,
more
for the
personalized,
clients, you
and
know?
I
It
think
should
that
be.
I think that and it's ran by a really good team of people. That's kind of like a collective little Frankenstein pieced together from like a lot of different backgrounds and experiences and like, you know, certifications and degrees. And yeah, so I like it, but definitely I've had wonderful clients I wish I could clone and keep there forever. And I've
Right.
had clients where I'm just like, I get off work and I'm like,
Thank God.
fuck, man.
yeah.
Like, damn.
I hear that.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
you didn't even touch me, but I feel like I got
Yeah.
slapped in the face. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
that was Saul for me. He was
You know-
my client.
Yeah.
Like, you
I
know when
want
people are
him
like
gone.
quiet, but you can, you know when people are like, they're not saying or making any noise, but you can feel how angry they are?
Bad energy. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh, it's like infectious.
vibes.
I'll
Yeah.
walk into a room and it's like crickets, and I'll be like, how you guys doing? And they're just like,
Give you that look. You're like, yeah, fuck
I'm like,
you too.
it's like I feel like Jim Carrey from fucking Dumb and Dumber. So big gulps, huh? Well, see you later.
Yeah. I say that line all the time.
Cut that
Big old
shit down
fuck.
real quick.
See you later. That's what.
Real
Yeah, I
quick.
knew I liked you. Quoting fucking. Dumb
But it's
and
cool,
Dumber.
man, and I think it's cool because I'm working with something from the ground floor up. So it's like I think as things get implemented and we get a little bit more like just through like fucking trial and error, like implementing stuff and like more of like a structure that like works across the board and not as is not something that's so like up in the air, which a lot, it's just a new business.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm excited to be a part of that and kind of know that like I have a voice somewhat if I think that something is like, makes sense. And if it doesn't, at least I have a direct line to being able to like relay that I have an idea on anything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right on, man. Well, cool, dude. That's badass. It sounds like you went from a very low point to look at you now.
I know, dude.
Killing it.
Seriously, you're killing the game. You're like a guy. I live with you, and it's like there's some people that you'll see even just in sober living where you're like, oh, man, that guy you gotta watch out for. But it's like you're solid. You're solid as a rock, man. It's impressive, and it sets the tone for the rest of us, and it shows the rest of us a path. And so you kind of carry a responsibility when you're doing what you're doing.
Without knowing it.
Yeah, without even knowing it, you're doing that for the rest of us.
I take zero credit, man. Honestly, like when I first came into the rooms and the fellowship and stuff, because I'm big on AA, obviously. I was like, I'd have somebody come up after a share and they'd be like, "Hey, man, sick share," and I'd be like, "Fucking, that's right."
Yeah,
Yeah. And yeah, man, it's all my relationship with like my higher power. I do a lot of prayer. The less I look for things, the more I notice them later.
Yeah.
And dude, I mean, it's all like my sponsor. He's very, very humble in the fact that he doesn't like it when I give him praise. He says, he just put my hand in God's and he's just giving me instructions. I'm the one doing the footwork, but he's definitely been a huge influence. He's been instrumental in like who I am today, and just being like the closest thing to what I believe is like the best version of myself. So
good.
I think that, yeah, dude, it's all perspective, dude. Absolutely. I didn't gain. The biggest thing that I've gained hasn't been like a job or like, a significant other or friends or any of that shit. It's just been like my perspective on life and acceptance. Like I was just talking to someone the other day about like the biggest thing for me is like how I feel. And I use the sun, right? I was like, my opinion of the sun is not going to change the sun.
Right.
I'm not going to be like, fuck the sun, man. It's fucking hot.
That's cheesy.
Gets in
Where'd
your
you hear
eyes.
that?
Sun goes home and
No,
cries itself.
I'm just
to sleep.
saying though, dead ass, right? Like so, like it's like as much I can judge and resent the
Right.
sunshine.
That's not
but
gonna
it's like
change
that's the
anything.
same thing with people, dude. I can
Right.
fucking hate you, talk
100%.
shit about you, give you my opinion, tell you factual, backed up evidence on why you're a scumbag piece of shit. I can show you a fucking PowerPoint presentation on why
Got
you should
graphs
fucking
and
kill
charts
yourself.
and shit.
And most people are not going to be receptive or open minded or really. It's not.
Right.
It's not going to help anything. So
Right.
I just live my life, stay in my lane, and things so far have fallen into place for the most part, and that's it.
It's beautiful,
Fucking A.
man. I'm
That's how it
happy
goes.
for you. I'm happy for you. I enjoy like living with you. When I first moved in, because you were here before me, and when I moved in over here, you were one of the first guys to come in the room and hey, come watch TV or come hang out, and first guy to talk to me. You're really outgoing. We kind of have similar personalities, I've been told. Like because we're both a little louder. We're both outgoing, and like I enjoy living with you, man. I'm glad you're doing so well. I'm glad you're here.
Well, it's nice working, working with each other in the house as far as the dynamic. Like that's one thing at my job is like our dynamic sometimes, dude, it's all just like either make the best of it,
Right.
because it's a weird kind of obligatory situation, like who you're living with and where you're at and like different personalities and stuff. It's like, why fight it,
down
man?
to respect.
Yeah, dude, it's like you don't need to fight it, man. Like I don't know. So I love the fact that I understand that, like what Hood was talking about, and just the fact that I can, give them a little bit of, I guess, wisdom on kind of what should matter most to them in this particular moment in time, and not like tripping on like tiny shit.
Yeah, man. I it's about that time, and I appreciate you coming on, man. I know you got to get to work right now, so that's why I don't want to keep you too long. But dude, your share's been amazing.
Yeah.
Your story's amazing. I want to hear more from you. You got a lot more to tell.
I think we'll have to have him back on sometime.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely, man.
No,
thanks for
for
coming
being on, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And as always, we got Miles Williams, my audio engineer. Thank you, Miles.
Yes, sir.
And my co-host, Brian Hoodie.
Yeah, that's me.
Don't call him Sweatshirt.
Just don't do it.
You know
Never.
not to call him.
Never
something?
that.
Don't
Just
do
don't do it.
it. And Troy, what is your last name, man?
Shenker.
Shenker, how can
Troy
you forget Shenker, bro?
Shenker. Thanks, man. And my name's Saul Jones. I'm your host. See you later.
Later.
Hey little Sammy, what you got in that sack? You're looking tough, like you ain't coming back. Hey little Sammy, When are you going to fly? Times are rough, people get tough, but you got the stuff, I know you'll get by.